What does it feel like to be the outcast in your own family, laughed at in a room full of people who should love you? For me, Emily Carter, that question wasn't hypothetical, it was the bitter reality of my brother's lavish engagement party. The glittering chandeliers, clinking champagne glasses, and forced smiles hid a truth I'd known for years. My family saw me as the failure, the black sheep, the one who never measured up. But that night, as their cruel laughter echoed in my ears, something inside me snapped. I wasn't just going to endure it. I was going to make them regret it. Growing up, I was the quiet one, the dreamer who preferred books to boardrooms, art to ambition. My parents, both high-powered lawyers, and my older brother, Nathan, the golden child with his Ivy League degree and perfect fiancé, never understood me. They'd roll their eyes when I talked about my small graphic design business, dismissing it as a hobby while praising Nathan's corporate conquests. I'd learned to swallow their barbs, to smile through the comparisons, but that night was different. Nathan's engagement party at our family's sprawling estate was a spectacle of wealth and status, and I was there, as always, on the fringes. The evening started innocently enough. I arrived in a simple black dress, hoping to blend in, to avoid the usual scrutiny. The ballroom buzzed with guests, me parents, colleagues, Nathan's business partners, and his fiancée Clara's socialite friends. I lingered near the bar, sipping a glass of wine, when Nathan spotted me. "Emily, you actually showed up," he said, loud enough for heads to turn. His tone was playful, but the jab was clear. I forced a smile, but then my mother joined in, her voice dripping with condescension. "Oh, Emily, still wearing that thrift store chic? You know, Nathan's fiancée had her dress custom-made in Paris." The crowd chuckled, and my face burned. It didn't stop there. As the night wore on, the mockery grew bolder. My father, halfway through his third scotch, announced to a group of guests, "Emily's still chasing her little art projects." Meanwhile, Nathan's closing million-dollar deals. More laughter. Clara, with her perfect smile, chimed in, "Maybe you could design Nathan's business cards someday." The room erupted, and I stood there, frozen, the butt of their joke. I wanted to scream, to run, but instead, I excused myself, retreating to the balcony to breathe. That's when I met Lily. She was a server, balancing a tray of champagne flutes, her eyes kind but tired. She noticed my trembling hands and offered me a glass. "Rough night?" she asked softly. I nodded, unable to speak. Lily didn't pry, but she stayed, her presence a quiet comfort. "You know," she said after a moment, "people like them. They laugh because they're scared of anyone who's different. Don't let them dim your light." Her words hit me like a lifeline. I didn't know it then, but Lily would become the unexpected ally who changed everything. Back inside, the party continued, but I was done playing the victim. As I watched my family bask in their smug superiority, a plan began to form, a ruthless, calculated revenge that would hit them where it hurt most, their pride. You see, I wasn't just a failed artist. My graphic design business, though small, had landed me a contract with a major tech startup, one Nathan had been desperately trying to court for months. I'd kept it quiet, not wanting to boast, but now I was ready to use it. The twist came the next morning when I received an email from the startup's CEO. They'd seen my portfolio and wanted me to present at their annual gala event Nathan and his firm were attending, hoping to secure a partnership. The CEO mentioned they'd been unimpressed with Nathan's pitch, calling it uninspired. I saw my chance. I spent the next week crafting a presentation that wasn't just good, it was unforgettable. I poured my heart into every slide, every design, weaving a story of innovation and passion that I knew would outshine anything Nathan could offer. The night of the gala arrived, and I walked in with my head high, no longer the overlooked sister. Nathan was there, schmoozing with the CEO, oblivious to my presence. When it was my turn to present, I took the stage, my voice steady, my visuals stunning. The room was captivated. I spoke about creativity, about building something meaningful, and I subtly highlighted how my approach differed from the stale, corporate pitches they'd seen. The jab wasn't lost on Nathan, whose face turned pale as the CEO nodded approvingly. When I finished, the applause was deafening. The CEO approached me, offering not just a contract extension but a partnership that would elevate my business to new heights. Nathan, meanwhile, was left scrambling, his pitch forgotten. But I wasn't done. As the crowd mingled, I overheard my parents boasting about their children's success. I couldn't resist. I walked over, smiling sweetly, and said, "Oh, Mom, Dad, I forgot to mention me little art project, just landed a deal that Nathan's been chasing for months." Funny how things turn out, isn't it? Their jaws dropped, and for once, they had no comeback. But the real revenge wasn't just professional. It was personal. I invited Lily to the gala, not as a server but as my guest. She'd shared her own story with me, a single mother working 3 jobs to support her daughter, her dreams of becoming a writer stifled by circumstance. I saw myself in her quiet resilience. During the gala, I introduced her to a publisher I'd met through the startup, someone who saw potential in her work. Watching Lily's face light up as they exchanged contact information felt better than any contract I'd signed. In the weeks that followed, my family's dynamic shifted. Nathan's deal fell through, and while I didn't gloat, I didn't need to. The truth was enough. My parents called, their voices softer, their apologies awkward but genuine. I listened, but I didn't forgive, not yet. I'd spent years shrinking to fit their expectations, and I was done. My revenge wasn't about destruction, it was about proving I was more than their mockery, more than their doubts. It was about building a life that shone so brightly they couldn't ignore it. Lily and I stayed in touch. She became a friend, a reminder that kindness can spark change in ways cruelty never will. Her first short story was published 6 months later, dedicated to her daughter and, to my surprise, to me. As for me, I expanded my business, not to spite my family but to honor the person I'd always been. The girl who dreamed, who created, who refused to break. Looking back, that night at Nathan's party could have crushed me. Instead, it ignited something fiercer, a fire that burned through their laughter and lit my path forward. Revenge, I learned, isn't always about tearing others down. Sometimes, it's about rising so high that their shadows can't touch you. And in that rise, I found not just victory, but purpose.